Yesterday's video, I introduced this idea of future pacing. And to me, it's such a familiar concept that I'm able to just throw it out there and mention it and move on. But I realized afterwards that some of my subscribers were saying, "Oh, can you tell us more about that?" Because that's not something that we necessarily get, or we'd like some examples of that. And so today's video is all about future pacing. And this is a concept from NLP, from neuro-linguistic programming, of getting the person that you're speaking with to vividly imagine a time in the future in which the outcome that they're looking to achieve, the change that they're looking to go through is already complete, is already done, is already real. So you're painting a time in the picture when they've already gotten the benefit, and then looking at what's changed, looking back on their life and seeing the transformation already having come true. And one thing that I immediately think of when I think of this, Dan Sullivan, the business coach, actually has a question that he uses when he's talking to someone who is, or anybody on his sales team uses when they're talking to someone who's interested in enrolling in one of their coaching programs. And that is the Dan Sullivan question. And it's, if we were having this discussion 3 years from today, and you were to look back over those 3 years to today, what has to have happened, both personally and professionally, for you to feel happy about your progress? So it's a question, it's asking them to time travel forward in time 3 years and to look back and recognize what's changed. And importantly, he says personally and professionally, even though he's a business coach, what's changed in their life for them to feel happy about their progress. So he's getting the prospect to do their own future pacing, for them to leap forward in the future and to imagine what has changed over the course of that period of time. And as copywriters, as marketers, as persuaders, our job often, especially because we sell through media and we sell one-to-many, is we need to come up with that. We need to identify the change, and then we have to find a way to word it that it resonates with a large segment of our audience. And so we have to ask this question, but we have to answer it from the mind of our prospect. We ask the Dan Sullivan question, essentially. And it could be 3 years or it could be 3 months. It really depends on what your offer is and the length of time that it's going to take for all the changes to really go into place and create a big difference in the prospect's life. But we can imagine 3 months forward. We can imagine 3 days forward. We can imagine 3 years forward. I don't know exactly what it is, but we're going to imagine this time in the future. And from the prospect's perspective, we look back over that period of time and we ask, what has to have happened personally, professionally, on all levels from the prospect's perspective, for them to feel happy about their progress. So you imagine a future for your prospect where the problem is solved, where the outcome has been achieved, where even where what they're getting is better than expected. And you're asking, what is life like without that problem? What is life like when the desire is fulfilled? And in fact, when the problem was solved, faster, easier, with less headache and less investment than expected, or when the desire was achieved faster than expected. And think, the more specific you can be about the moment of the experience, the better. So what one thing? So when Gary Bencivenga used actually the Neville Goddard thing that I referenced in yesterday's video, when he used that feeling as the secret process, Gary would imagine himself even as he was just getting the project from a client, he would imagine himself. There were a few different exercises that he would go through, but one of them is he would imagine himself walking out to the mailbox and seeing that there's like he would imagine himself opening up the the mailbox and seeing that there was a royalty check in there, and he would pull the royalty check out, and he would imagine himself ripping open the envelope and pulling it out and looking at it and looking at just how big that number was on that check and how incredible that moment was where he was actually getting the payment for how well this project did. And mind you, like he hadn't started writing or anything at this point. He had just gotten the project from the client. And he would be imagining this moment of like this big royalty check and how incredible that was. And there were a few other imagination exercises that he went through, but it was this moment of like he was recognizing the specific experience of that specific moment that represented success. And if you can imagine the specific experience of the specific moment where your prospect is enjoying the success of whatever they're going to get from your offer, like that's like what you're looking for in future pacing. And then you ask yourself, like, what has changed from before your offer to that moment? What's changed on a personal level? What's changed on a professional level? What's changed about their daily experience? What's changed about their outlook on life? Referencing the specific lesson from yesterday, like what is the experience of emotional relief of the problem solved or desire fulfilled? So the emotional relief comes when tension disappears. So any unsolved problem has tension, and any unfulfilled desire has tension. And so the emotional relief is from the release of that tension by solving the problem or fulfilling the desire. So a few quick examples. Actually, in a couple minutes here, I'm going to hop on for my Breakthrough Marketing Secrets Insiders or BTMS Insiders members call, and I'm going to teach my system for getting testimonials. And I wrote a little bit of copy about that went out to members earlier today. And in that copy, I painted a picture of their prospect, and their prospect being at that point of decision about making a purchase from them, and their prospect suddenly seeing this testimonial video, and their prospect prior to the testimonial video being like not quite sure if they're going to make the purchase and not quite sure if they should believe you, but then they watch this great testimonial video, and suddenly they have the confidence in you and your offer and your ability to make a positive impact in their life because they watched that testimonial video. And having that testimonial video being the secret to the more effective persuasion, the more effective marketing, the more effective selling. And painting the picture of that moment, not just like in your life, oh, you got a great testimonial, but the prospect being persuaded by the testimonial, learning about you and feeling confidence in you through that testimonial. Painting a picture of that is a great example of like a moment in the future where if you have a system in place for getting testimonials, that's a moment that will be true in the future that will benefit you. Or like the idea of building a client business. Instead of like thinking about all the process of building a client business, at one point, if you have your client business really going, you're going to be waking up to new leads, to new calls booked with clients who are pre-educated, pre-qualified, pre-motivated to do business with you. And like, you're going to wake up one morning and you're going to check your email whenever you decide to check your email. And you're going to see like appointments booked throughout the day for people who like are excited to talk to you about your services and what you can do for them. And that is future pacing the success of helping someone build a client business. Or like if you're selling some completely unrelated industries, if you're selling real estate, if you're selling somebody their first home, you could talk about that moment, what it feels like to walk into like your perfect first home for the first time, and what that's going to feel like when you turn the key in the door handle, knowing like this is my house that I'm walking into. And what room are you going to go into first? Are you going to go into the kitchen? Are you going to go into the bedroom? Are you going to just like lay down on the floor, on the empty floor, and like celebrate that you have this home? You're imagining that moment. Or like health, like if you help somebody with pain, you could have them imagine one morning they wake up and they start going about their day and they're, making breakfast or having coffee or reading the paper or whatever. And they have this sudden realization that the pain that they dealt with for so long, like they hadn't thought about it that morning because it just wasn't there that morning. And being grateful for how long it's actually been since they've had a morning like that, where the pain just wasn't even something they had to think about at all. And what a transformation that would be. Now, you could take this into all sorts of different angles, different markets, whatever, but the whole idea is painting this picture of this moment in the future when the problem has been solved, when the outcome has been achieved, and it's better than expected, and there's this emotional relief of not dealing with the problem anymore or not worrying about getting the outcome that they desire. And just specific to copywriting and specific to the type of language you can use, like there's language that comes out of like the hypnosis world. And actually I have some training that that's in development right now that I'm going to start recording soon called Sleight of Pen. One of the things that it does is it goes into all of this hypnotic language, and there's going to be content on future pacing and so on. But the word imagine is a great word for this. Like imagine one day in the future. Imagine yourself a few months down the road from now. Imagine. Or think about what it will be like. Think about what it's going to be like when you can do this with your kids. Think about what it's going to be like when you are choosing to book another vacation in your retirement, and you don't even really have to think about the cost of the vacation. Sure, you want to be responsible with your money, but you don't have to worry about it in quite the same way that you've had to worry about it at different times in the past because of the financial freedom you were able to create for yourself. How is it going to feel when? That's the next. So think about what it will be like. How is it going to feel when you're able to wake up one day and go through your morning without pain, without even having to think about the pain, without having to think about the struggle, etc. Now, one big recommendation before we go. It is important here, if you're creating media using this concept of future pacing, that you need to be generic enough in your language that your prospect feels like it fits their experience. So talking about the retirement vacation, if you're talking about a retirement cruise to Italy, the person may hate Italy and they may hate cruises for whatever reason, right? So if you make it too specific, you risk them saying, oh, that's not me, and taking themselves out of this thought imagination exercise. Versus if you make it just generic enough. So booking a vacation for retirement could be all sorts of different things, right? So think about this in terms of like, how can I create just enough imagery that the prospect is able to fill in the details for themselves? So I hope this has been helpful. I am doing a thing where I would love for you to rate below in the comments, like on a scale of 1 to 10, how valuable has this been for you? Why? What's been your biggest takeaway? So leave a comment below. Let me know that. Also click that like button before you go so you get more content like this delivered to you. Also, so the magical algorithms of the internet know to share this with more people like you. If you know somebody who'd get value, make sure you share it with them directly, and subscribe. You can subscribe here. You can also go to breakthroughmarketingsecrets.com to get my daily emails Monday through Friday with these videos and more content on copywriting, marketing, selling, business building, entrepreneurship, and more. My name is Roy Furr. This is a video issue of Breakthrough Marketing Secrets. I hope you've gotten 10 out of 10 value. I want you to be honest, but my goal is to always give you 10 out of 10. And I look forward to delivering you more value in your next video issue. I will see you soon. Bye.